Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Healing. I am here with the weekly twin flame reading for July 31st through August 6th. So we are, like I mentioned last week, heading into a period of some pretty intense energy. And the Leo King did a nice, concise video about it this week. So if you want to hear a little bit about what is going to be coming up in the next 6 weeks or so, go to the Leo King, go to his YouTube page or his, YouTube link. I'm going to link it down below in the description so you can check it out. It's like a 7-minute video. He's saying that things are going to be pretty intense this month. Try not to be too stressed out about that. Try not to worry too much. He's, I don't want to say he's a little dramatic, but the Leo King, he is a little theatrical. But I do, I'm sensing that this is going to be a period of some pretty big shifts for people. And that seems to kind of be the consensus among a lot of people in the spiritual community. And this has been a period of time that's been talked about for quite a while, since the beginning of this year. So a couple of things I just really want to mention. So I told you about the Leo King video. Some of the energies that are coming up. Last week I mentioned, that we started pre-eclipse season. So the eclipses are coming up. We have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse that will be happening. This week we are starting the pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde. And this week we are also going to beginning the period of Uranus, or Uranus. I'm from New York and we have goofy accents, and so Uranus, however people pronounce it, but that is going retrograde as well. And that retrograde is really going to have people, it's really going to, I don't want to say it's going to cause anything, because it's not necessarily going to cause anything, but people are going to be pushed to take a closer look at themselves, and they may be wanting to break free of things that maybe that they weren't willing to break free from in the past. Coming up in the next few weeks, we may be feeling uncomfortable with ourselves, and wanting to change the things about ourselves that we're uncomfortable with. And that's what this whole period is supposed to do. So if you are feeling something like that, you're supposed to. That's what this is meant for you to figure out what it is that you want to shift in yourself and move forward from. And one of the things with that is that, with all of the changes in the energies and the planets and everything that's going on, during this period, we are really being urged to do something with what we discover about ourselves, versus just, looking within and saying, oh, I learned that about myself. Well, now we're being pushed to actually do something with that knowledge, which it is going to be a little different for people, I think. So according to the Leo King, August 2017 is going to be a month that many will remember for a long period of time. And hopefully it will be one that many of us are remembering for positive reasons. That's the intention that I'm setting for this. I had two other things that I wanted to... Oh, there were two other things that I wanted to mention really quickly. So there, and I think it's related to some of the energetic shifts that we've been experiencing and the ones that are coming up. I've been noticing some things happening in the twin flame community, particularly online. One thing I've noticed a little bit of is, and I don't know, it pops up from time to time, but I notice sometimes that people like to tell other people who they are or what their connection is if they don't agree with your stance on something. They like to call you out, that you're an ego, that you are not a twin flame. I've seen a lot of other things said about that too. And, I really just felt like I needed to say something about that, and especially, in some of these online groups that are really getting to be quite large. Do not let anybody tell you what your connection is or isn't, especially Joe Schmo on some message board. And I quite frankly find that the people who are going around telling other people that they're in ego all the time are usually the ones that are an ego. That's just me. But I mean, yeah. The people that are going around telling, other people that they're an ego just because they don't agree on something, like, no, that's not someone being an ego. So just kind of keep that in mind, that, the energies are causing chaos for some, and people are just acting kind of goofy. So I'm noticing that. Just don't let people tell you what your connection is or isn't. And, a lot of people do have, misconceptions about twin flame, what it is, what it isn't. There's a lot of romanticized thoughts and beliefs around the concept. And, that's not what it's all about. If you agree with that, great. If you don't, you don't. But you just don't need to be putting other people down, put their connections down. Like, just, you don't need to do it. And if people are doing it to you, don't listen to it, because it's crap. The other thing that I'm seeing is I'm noticing some changes in the twin flame community in terms of some of the people who call themselves, I guess would call themselves teachers, leaders, whatever. Things are changing a little bit in terms of, I don't want to say what is being taught. I I don't know, I'm not really sure what I want to say exactly. I don't have the right thoughts in my head, but there's a lot of changes that are happening, and for some, the changes are coming down the pipe very quickly. And I think, you know, just for the people that I work with and that I'm helping, I just want it to put it out there that use your own discernment when you are working with anybody. You know, if you don't resonate with something, you know, listen to that. Don't force yourself to buy somebody's message just because you've been listening to them for a certain amount of time, or because they have so many followers, or whatever it is. Listen to your gut, listen to your discernment, because I think that that's really going to be very important as we're going through this very intense period. So with that, I'm going to start with the reading. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you're new to my channel, I usually start with the feminine, and I refer to the feminine energy and the masculine energy. However, this pertains to same-sex couples just as well as heterosexual couples. I just use masculine and feminine because it's easier for me to keep track of who I'm talking about in the reading. And if this message doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Then it's just not the message for you. Don't worry about it. If what I'm saying does resonate with you, great. If it seems like I'm talking directly to you, then I am the reader for you, and we should talk about you having a individual reading with me. So yeah, so I feel like there's going to be, I feel like this is like a little bit of a quieter reading this week. And I feel like the heavy, intense energy is being reflected in this. And it's interesting, you know, sometimes when I do the reading, the cards don't necessarily play off each other, and I can read them individually. But sometimes they really, they work best when they're read at the same time, because they go really nicely together. And I'm trying, like, I've been trying to figure out, I'm like, how do I want to read these cards? Because, you know, I'm using my John Holland Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck, and then I use my Angel Tarot cards as the clarifiers. And what was interesting with the first card on the masculine and the feminine side, 2 cards from the John Holland deck came out for each one, and then I pulled the clarifier, and I'm feeling like, as I'm looking at these, that it's really not the, it's really the angel card that I'm supposed to read as the card, and then the John Hollands are the clarifier in this case, because as they came out, the feminine got the Hermit, and the masculine got the Nine of Earth. And to me, these are very different cards, but at the same time, they're saying something very similar to me in terms of the masculine and the feminine need some time to be alone. There's some there's needed time alone. And both of these cards are nines. You know, and so I'm feeling like with this, you know, time alone, I feel like for some it's already started. This whatever this time is, it's starting, and it's already started, and it's going to come to an end. And this isn't like necessarily a separation or a split that I'm seeing. It's just they need time. They you know, so now I'm going to talk about these separately just because it'll help me sort what's coming into my head better. So the Hermit is a card of self-discovery and the need to spend time in meditation. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of feminine twins that have not been doing that. And something, you know, whatever led to this time where, you know, some alone time is needed. It's a time for self-discovery and reflection. And, you know, if you are feminine energy and you're not meditating, please meditate, because it's going to be really good for you. And what the clarifying cards are telling me, we got the third eye chakra and then the sacral chakra. And the message that came to me when these cards came out is that this time alone, this self-discovery, this quiet meditation is going to be how the feminine is going to feel the truth or see the truth of whatever it is that she needs, whatever she needs to see or feel the truth about. That's how it's going to happen. And she can't do it if she is attached to the masculine energy. They need to have some quiet alone, you know, they just need some alone time to focus and regroup and do their thing. Like I said, this is not at all a separation type of energy. And it's not something that's going to be long, you know, it's going to end quickly. But it's, the feminine needs this time so she can get to the truth. And I feel like whatever this is, it's her truth. And it's the truth of whatever situation she's in. And depending on who you are, that, you know, that's going to look different. For many of you, I do feel like it's related to your twin, but it's also it's something that has to do with you and in how you're going to be moving forward, and focusing on your stuff. Now, so then for the masculine, we have the Nine of Earth. Now, the Nine of Earth is different because the Nine of Earth is more, you know, enjoying life's little luxuries. You're spending enjoyable, quiet time alone. But it's still, you know, it's about spending quiet time alone. And I feel like it's another situation where there's a need for reflection and to take a look at what's going on. The clarifying cards, we have Shine and Daydreams and Decisions. And, you know, as has been discussed so many times, there's just a lot going on with the masculine where they go back and forth a lot. And this is a time where they just are going to kind of surrender. You know, it's not a real surrender, but they're like, I need some quiet. I need to be with my own thoughts, because it's like they can't have the feminine energy pushing at them to make a decision one way. They can't have whatever energies on the other side of them pushing to make a decision the other way. You know, they need the noise to go away. And that's kind of where they're at. So both twins are like just in a very similar place. Now, the next cards that come up, you know, and I feel like, so for the masculine, what comes up is win or lose. Now, the card is a 5, so 5 for change, transition, chaos, and, you know, something is, so in the card that is a clarifier here is the Page of Fire, and so the Page of Fire is news of something. It says news of an exciting new endeavor, but that could be anything. That could be a new job, that could be a new relationship, that could be a new home, that could be a new trip. Like there's a lot, a new family, a new baby. Like there's a lot of things that could be. You know, in some ways, you know, it's something that they're going to have to be kind of creative about in terms of how it's dealt with. But with the win or lose, the win or lose is, this card comes up when they're trying to deal with something and, you know, they're trying to look at it so that there isn't a winner and a loser. They're trying to come up with some sort of balanced solution so that everybody feels good about it, so that there's a compromise. And you know, I'm almost feeling like this is not, whatever this win or lose situation is, it's not something that is directly related to the feminine. This is something that is in his own personal life. And he's trying to figure out how to present it in a way that she doesn't feel like she's losing something. He's trying to figure out how to weigh it on his side so he doesn't feel like he's losing something. Like he's trying to make sure that everybody gets their needs met in a way. But there's going to be some sort of change here with the masculine. Now for the feminine, the card that comes up here is observe. And so with the feminine, now, and I'm feeling like with this card, this is more of like an advice. You know, what needs to take place for the best kind of outcome for everybody is you need to kind of take a step back from whatever this situation is and look at it from all the perspectives, look at it from all the different angles, because this isn't your thing. And looking at it from other other perspectives is going to help you to, what's coming into my head right now is not lose your shit. Like that was what came into my head. So I don't know if it's going to be like something that you would lose your shit over, but maybe. I know a lot of the feminine twins are just like at the end of their rope, so it could be something very small that just kind of set, you know, straw that breaks the camel's back. The clarifying cards that I get for the feminine that are very interesting to me is that she has the Knight of Fire, and I feel like this card is confirming whatever the situation is that's going on with the masculine, that there is a something suddenly comes up that needs attention, and things need to be thought through very carefully with it. But then the other card that came out here was the Ten of Air. And the Ten of Air is all about the end of a difficult situation. Things will be changing, but things will be getting better. And the 10 breaks down to a 1, which is new beginnings. And so I feel like whatever this thing is, it'll end up playing out, and it'll end up working out in the feminine's favor. You just have to be patient. And I think that the main message here, the way that you get to being patient, the way that you work through this, is looking at this from all sides. Being able to put yourself in everybody's shoes and seeing all the perspectives of this situation, and just kind of stand back and observe. Don't get involved. That's gonna put you in a you're gonna look better for doing that. Now, the next card that comes up for the masculine is strengthening bonds, and the person on this card is facing towards the feminine. It's a 1, new beginnings, and I feel like whatever has happened, the masculine's going to realize that there's a need to kind of make amends, and I feel like he almost realizes that the feminine is desiring more of a bond with them that is emotional, that is a deeper spiritual connection type of bond. And the clarifying card that comes up here is the Empress. And so this is all about, nurturing yourself and others. And I feel like that is, there's a realization that this relationship needs some nurturing. This person needs some nurturing, and I need to strengthen this bond with this person. Possibly, I'm almost feeling like the masculine knows that the waters will still be rough down the road, and so that you need that bond to get through it. But also because he's knowing deep down that you deserve it, that he should have worked on strengthening these bonds a long time ago. So I almost feel like there's going to be some like heart-to-heart conversations, or deeper conversations than what have taken place in the past. And the card that comes up for the feminine is Teach. And I do feel like what's going to happen here is the masculine is going to be learning from the feminine some of what she needs and some of what maybe has happened in the past that has created friction, created issues in their past. The card that comes up here as a clarifier is the Six of Water, and the Six of Water is refers to memories from your history, and it can also even indicate romanticizing the past. And so you know, there may be some conversations about, you know, what didn't work for us before, what do we need to do differently. And so I think that the feminine's going to be in a really interesting position to give some feedback and teach the masculine what she needs and how to be the man that she wants and desires. I'm not saying that he's gonna be able to do that, but he's gonna learn something from her about that. He's gonna learn more about what she needs from him. The crowning energy that both twins are bringing into this is share the love, which, you know, it was really pleasing to me to see this card come up, you know, because it shows me that despite the challenges that are coming up, you know, the chaotic energy, the funky feeling energy, there's still this desire to be in the love with each other, and even though they may feel like their hearts have been cracked open, they still want to share that with each other. And I think that that's a really beautiful gesture, that you know, there's been some tough times, they've gotten through them, they still want to share this love with each other. And I think it's a really important foundation to continue to have and to work on as we come into this potentially chaotic and challenging energetic period. And the clarifying card here is the Eight of Water, and the Eight of Water does indicate that period of spiritual and emotional growth, and that is currently happening for all of humanity. I mean, not just masculine and feminine twins, but that's happening all across the board. And so it was really nice to see these cards together in the crowning energy, because there really is that push and that desire to still come together in that love. Now the grounding energy is refusing to see. And so even though they're coming together in such a positive crowning energy, the grounding energy that they're both bringing is refusing to see. And it's, you know, I think they're still both having that fear of not being able to see how this can work, not really having the faith that everything will come together the way it's supposed to. But they're trying. They're trying. The clarifying card is the Dreamer, which is taking that leap of faith. You know, knowing that you can, you know, follow your dreams, and that, you know, everything's gonna work out. So, you know, and I think it's that grounding energy is that because so many of us are feeling this unsettled period that we are going into. You know, there's this like, what's going to happen on the other side of this? They're just like, how, you know, you just can't wrap your head around it. You're both having a hard time wrapping your head around that. Now the grounding, or the underlying energy that the feminine is bringing to this reading, is sadness and isolation. And you know, this is definitely, you know, I definitely see this because, you know, in the beginning with the Hermit, going into that quiet meditation, that alone, you know, I see that happening reluctantly. She didn't want to. And there was sadness, but it was moving into a place of acceptance and, you know, seeing other perspectives and, you know, this is where things are, and moving into this state of not isolation, but surrender to this is what is right now, and just accepting things for how they come. The clarifying card here is the Eight of Earth, which is, you know, this is a card that's, you know, learning all there is to know about something, you know, a new area of study. And I really feel like for the feminine that this is, you know, really diving into learning what there is to know about yourself and realizing that, you know, it's really time to focus on you and what you can learn about yourself and how you are ready to grow and change and, you know, all of those types of things. And the underlying energy that comes up for the masculine twin is change your focus. So we have another 5, change and chaos, transitions, and the teach card was also a 5. You know, and I feel like what's going on with the masculine with this card is that he's been very focused on himself, what he needs, his personal life, and he's realizing that that needs to change a little bit because that's pushing the feminine away and giving the wrong impression, or at least he thinks it gives the wrong impression. I think it does give the wrong impression for many, but he's realizing, like, you know, I can't keep doing this and expect my feminine counterpart to hang around. And so the clarifying card is justice, which is, you know, he's realizing with this change your focus energy that the right thing to do is to be fair and to focus on what he believes in. You know, focus his attention on what is important to him and do what he thinks is right in that situation. And then the oracle card that came up for this reading is Treasure Island. And so this is another 9. And the essential meanings for Treasure Island are the law of attraction bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains, and the sharing of good fortune. The relationship message is your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need. But you may not see that right now. No matter how long you've been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourselves and each other. Now is a time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you great gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. So I really do, I love this card, especially the end of it with it saying, you know, that the message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you, because that is a big part of the twin flame connection is celebrating that love, being in the love, and learning from that. And I think that you know, we'll have to check in, you know, in September and see where things are at. But I'm feeling like this Oracle card is kind of like a foreshadowing of the other side of this crazy August energy. And possibly into September it might be, I think, a little too, because I know Mercury retrograde, I think, is probably going to go into September a little bit. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that this was a helpful reading for you. If you are interested in getting a twin flame reading from me, or any reading from me, please check out my website. It's indigowingshealing.com. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/indigowingshealing. You can email me at indigowingshealing@gmail.com. And I also have a Facebook group, which is Indigo Wings Soul Connections. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you are notified as soon as I upload the latest videos. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, and I will see you guys when I upload my next video. Have a great week.